NFL free agency is just around the corner, and that means that one of the hottest quarterback free agent markets is about to go on full display. Welcome to ShaunsTake and my NFL free agent quarterback Totem Poll edition. We're going to go ahead and dive right into this. I made an NFL free agent quarterback totem poll, ranking them based off of ranking of when teams will look to pursue them. So these are, it's a heavy quarterback market this year. There's a lot of big names that you don't normally see, like Tom Brady, Phil Rivers, two future Hall of Famers on the market this year. And at number one, we have our very own Tom Brady, perhaps the best quarterback in NFL history at 42 years old. It's the first time Brady's ever hit the free agent market. It's going to be a very exciting offseason for him. And, he's going to be looking for probably a 2-year contract on the open market. We've heard rumors about everything. You can't believe anything until it actually happens with the Brady situation. It's hard to see him not returning to the New England Patriots, but over the past couple of days and weeks, it's looking more and more likely that he will not be back in New England. So, we still have to wait to see kind of where his meetings are. And if the Patriots don't just re-sign him right when free agency opens, that's still definitely a possibility of him staying in New England, where he's been his whole career with Bill Belichick and that great Patriots organization. But if he does leave New England for the first time in his career, it'll be a huge shockwave throughout the NFL. Teams, there's kind of two teams right now. One's realistic, one's I don't see it happening, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers said they will do everything in their power to get Tom Brady to their franchise. Now, it's the Buccaneers, which when you think of Tom Brady, you do not think of him going there. But with Bruce Arians, they're a great head coach, great quarterback coach. The organization said that, or the rumor that came out about the organization said that Brady will get his two main wishes in both playing a little bit of a GM role and being able to help choose who they get in the draft and in free agency to build that team around him, and also have a role in play calling moving forward. Those are two things Brady wants, two things the Bucs are willing to offer. Still don't really see him going there, but honestly, throwing to Chris Godwin, Mike Evans isn't that bad of a look. So I don't see it happening, but the Bucs are kind of it would be exciting to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be exciting. Now, the LA Chargers are all in on Tom Brady, both for his talent, winning, but also ticket sales. The Chargers have one of the worst ticket sales in the NFL. Putting Brady there would put fans in seats, make that money that the Chargers are looking to get, while also giving them another winning roster. They're basically in contention with a more stable quarterback play. When Phil Rivers was playing great, they were in contention every year. Last year was a little different for Phil Rivers. They've said they're going to move on from Rivers and put Brady, who they're hoping could be their guy to lead them for the next 2 years and get that Super Bowl that they've been looking for. I would say it's either the Chargers, New England Patriots. We'll wait and see what happens on that. But moving on to number 2 on the quarterback totem pole, we have Teddy Bridgewater. Went 5-0 as the starter for the Saints last year, filling in for an injured Drew Brees. By the way, not to forget to mention, I'm assuming Dak Prescott and Drew Brees are off the market, staying with their respective teams with the Cowboys and Saints. So back to Bridgewater. He should have plenty of suitors, should get a nice size contract for the play he's provided. He's a safe quarterback, high completion percentage, low turnover, not the biggest arm, but insanely smart, makes the right reads, gets an offense moving. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers look like a perfect situation for him, assuming that they do not get Tom Brady and don't want to re-sign Jameis Winston. Bridgewater should be the favorite for the Buccaneers, and at the end of the day, it looks like it's a logical situation for Bridgewater to go there. The Buccaneers have a very good roster. I think they're a very underrated team. They're a very talented team. So I could definitely see Bridgewater being the guy the Bucs look to lean on for the future of their franchise. Another suitor, if the Chargers don't get Tom Brady and don't want to go to the draft for a quarterback, Bridgewater would be a very good fit there. He could be the Chargers' second option. It would make sense in LA too. A roster that's ready to win now. Bridgewater is ready to win now, as we saw in New Orleans last year, and LA has the talent there, and Bridgewater could make sense in LA also for the Chargers. Another team that may be interested, the Chicago Bears. The only issue with this is Bridgewater would need assurance that he would be the starter heading into wherever he signs. There's plenty of suitors that would start him right away, so if Chicago said they wanted him to be in competition with Mitchell Trubisky. It wouldn't make sense for Bridgewater to go there. So, Chicago's more of a long shot. The fit would be very nice. It would make sense. But realistically, with the competition, I'm not seeing it happen. Next up, we have Ryan Tannehill, who this one actually should be pretty simple now. The Titans were rumored to be in the Tom Brady sweepstakes. Since then, the past couple days, it's looked like they're really going to stick with Tannehill, trying to work out a contract with him, a multi-year deal, which makes sense. He played great coming into relief for Marcus Mariota last year. Almost got the Titans to the Super Bowl. 5th in completion percentage during the time he played. 2nd in QBR behind only Drew Brees. And it seems like Tennessee is really the only team in the running for him. If he were to get out of Tennessee, I'm sure teams would be, would look to sign him. Another, very efficient quarterback. The interesting thing is he's a 500 quarterback throughout his career, but this was his best gig on the best team he's been on too. So, we should definitely see Ryan Tannehill kind of, I'm not saying he's going to pick up where he left off last year because he's playing at a very extremely efficient and high rate play, but, he should still be a very serviceable starting quarterback for the Titans moving forward with their run game, assuming they get Derrick Henry back, look to run it back again in Tennessee. Should be a lock to stay in Tennessee. Up next, Jameis Winston. If you didn't watch my show on Jameis Winston, make sure to check out that show. It'll be posted in the link for this video as well. But the biggest question mark on the QB market, he led the league in yards, was 2nd in touchdowns, but along with that, also led the league in turnovers. The big question for Jameis Winston is, can he get a starting job? My opinion is yes, 100%. If you throw for 5,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns, you should land a starting job. The chance of him throwing that many interceptions again are not high. The chance of him throwing 15 to 20, 15 is probably a safe number for him next year. That's cutting back on half, but 30 it's a huge number. It's not realistic to say he's going to throw 30 picks again. I'm sure that he himself is majorly working on cutting down the turnovers, but if you cut his turnover in half, he's an MVP candidate right then and there. So I hope he gets a chance to start. The talent is amazing. So it's just getting it. Maybe Indianapolis would give him a starting job. Maybe the Chargers if they strike out. Could he come and compete in Chicago, potentially? Or is he going to turn to a backup opportunity in, say, Pittsburgh or New Orleans with veteran QBs who will be retiring soon enough? So it's going to be interesting for him. The last one I mentioned this in the Winston video, but could he be the Patriots' next starter? It might not be a name that you really think, oh, New England right then and there, but with Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick, great coaching staff, great organization, it makes sense. So, Jameis Winston and the Patriots may not be as crazy as you think. Up next, Phillip Rivers. The Chargers have said they're not going to bring him back. Rivers had a down year last year, but still threw for over 4,000 yards. 7th consecutive season throwing for over 4,000 yards. He still has the talent. Struggled with turnovers last year. Struggled with late game drives last year. So the Chargers wanted to move on to the page in their chapter. The only link we've seen right now is the Indianapolis Colts. Colts look like they want to turn the page too on their franchise, and maybe they believe that Phillip Rivers is the guy that can kind of get them back into contention next year. So it's looking very likely like Phillip Rivers will be on the Indianapolis Colts next year. We haven't seen any other stories. So, if he's not a Colt, I don't think anyone really has a clue where he'll end up. But look for him on the Indianapolis Colts next year. And then last, I put Marcus Mariota on this list. Really as a backup option for teams. There's no logical place for him to go and be the starter right away. So a couple situations I could see him going. Teams with frustrating quarterback situations, such as the Bears and the Raiders, who have both said they'd stick with their starting quarterbacks in Trubisky and Derek Carr, but haven't been extremely happy with how things have been going. So could Mariota be a backup option there, go in and compete in camp? Probably start the year as a backup, but if things turn south, he asserts himself as a starter, and then, see where he goes from there. But still, he's a very good backup option, a lot of starting experience. Change of situation could be very good for him. New scenery might revive his career, but it will likely have to start as a backup. Same with Winston, maybe New Orleans or maybe Pittsburgh, somewhere where, a starter is going to be out soon enough, and maybe he can elevate himself into that next starting spot for a franchise. Or he could potentially be like a Miami Dolphins signee, bridge for a new rookie quarterback. The only thing is, kind of the top quarterbacks that Miami is looking at are all ready to start right when they get to the NFL, presumably. So would they want to bring in someone like that to be a backup to a rookie quarterback? That's also a lot of media controversy with an established young guy still being the backup to a new rookie. It seems like that's a lot of pressure. You would probably rather have, an older veteran come back up to be able to help mentor the young rookie QB. So the biggest thing for Marcus Mariota will be finding out if he can still be a starting caliber quarterback. That is it for the quarterback totem pole. If you have any questions, any comments about this, please drop them in the comments section. Open up some discussions about who you think will go where and how free agency will shake out. So it's going to be an exciting time. Again, there's a lot of big name quarterbacks on this. There's a lot of starting caliber guys. Not to mention there's still people in the draft and Andy Dalton, Cam Newton potentially on the trade block. There's a lot of openings, and it almost seems like there's too many guys to fill those openings. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets pushed to a backup role and how everything shakes out this NFL offseason. Until next time, I'll see you back here on Shaun's Take. Thanks for watching.